Sarah, it's that time of year again. They have the best performance of the show. It's pretty exciting stuff.
I'm super excited, and I'm super excited to see what people are going to vote and put in as the best performance.
And then November 15th, we have our yearly Best Performance e-magazine that comes out, and voting starts for the real Best Performance November 15th through December 1st. And then the winner on December 1st will be announced. And how much money are they going to win?
They win $1,000.
That's pretty exciting. That's pretty cool. So casting votes, you might be able to win $1,000. And if you think a horse can win, do it.
I would want to win $1,000, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I definitely would. So get your friends on and start voting. And if you're top 25, you're in the running for the money. So I'm here with Rhiannon Beauregard, who is originally from New England, is now a transplant to Austin, Texas. Well, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much. I'm so happy to be here.
So what happened this week with you?
Well, we came and we showed in training level amateur, and we won all 3 of our classes. We had a personal best score of 77.174, which, if you don't know about dressage, is like I'd broken 70 once in my career, and I got above 70 on all 3 scores here, which is really awesome. So, and we wound up winning the world championship.
Yeah, I can see all the hardware right here. So tell me a little bit about this horse. I know that he's kind of up in age, so how old is he?
Yeoman is 23.
And what's his prefix?
Meadoware Yeoman. He's from Meadoware Farm from Walpole, New Hampshire.
And I remember this horse showing when I was little, and he used to clean house in the Hunt Seat division, so it's pretty cool that he came to Oklahoma at 23 and cleaned house in dressage, so that's really cool. So tell me a little bit about your story. How did you get here? How did you transition into dressage?
So Yeoman, I began Yeoman as a 3-year-old junior hunter pleasure, and I think our first show was in 1996, first Morgan show, and we showed in the hunters, hunter pleasure for pretty much our whole career. I had leased him out to Sue Casper from S&S Stables while I was in college and grad school, and so he had a pretty successful career with them. And then I moved him to New York, and we did a bunch of stuff. He was a therapeutic riding competitive horse. We'd take him to shows with the kids, and he does carriage driving, so I competed in that. And we fox hunted, we trail ride, we do all sorts of stuff. So he's just really a lifetime horse. And I transitioned him in dressage a few years back because I knew as he got up in age that he was going to need to continue to work. And I really liked how dressage really promoted sort of the physical fitness and harmony between horse and rider. Initially, I thought dressage was like sort of boring and stuffy, but now I realize that it's just really always about the team between, him and me and our performance.
So the transition into dressage, so it was a learning experience for both of you then?
Yeah, I had never ridden dressage before. I don't even think I had watched it on TV. I had no idea what it was, and I just got an opportunity to take a couple lessons, and I thought it would be cool if Yeoman, who had always been like on the straight and narrow, like learned to move sideways and learned a flying lead change, which it's way harder than, to do it in a proper way. But dressage really just opened our eyes to a whole level of just harmony and balance and physical fitness. And I realized a lot of the stuff that Yeoman had been presenting with as a younger horse probably could have been fixed by dressage had we taken that next step and gone in that direction. So I really can't support it enough. I feel like when I showed in this circuit, I thought dressage like, oh, that's just like what like horses who aren't pretty do, which is like a horrible thing. But I realized that it's super athletic. It's super, I have to memorize tests. I have to do things at exact moments. We don't get like a rail to canter, like you canter at sea. And it's like, it's just really cool. So even though it looks kind of like nothing's going on, so much is going on. And I love the sport. I love this sport. I just love riding. I love Morgans, but I just love the fact that really dressage is what has kept this horse at 23 competing. I can't say enough about it as like just as another chapter in his life.
So can we meet this horse?
Of course.
So we're here with Meadoware Yeoman, who's a legend for sure in New England in the Hunt Seat division. I remember him growing up, and it's kind of cool to see him out here. He looks pretty good for 23.
Thanks. Again, I'll credit dressage, and no expense has ever been spared in his life by anyone who's ever been his caretaker. The horse has been like just generally just really well cared for.
What are some of the favorite things you like about this horse?
Yeoman is so, I'm going to get a little emotional. It's just really awesome to be here. He's just so gracious, and he's just such an honorable horse. Like, he's my best friend. And, you know, to have a relationship with a horse for 20 years and then to come here and to win is just like so overwhelming. I like cried in every test I had. It was just like, I just feel so grateful that I had a horse as a young age and I'm able to be an adult and just be recognized for the hard work. We've had a long road. I had some health issues a few years ago and I thought my riding career was over, and we came here and we won, and it just was just really awesome. And I feel like Yeoman has a lot of fans. He's just a sweet horse. He's just a nice guy. And I feel like that's a Morgan, but that's also his breeding. And it's also like, you know, I let him always tell me what he wanted. So he's just very appreciative for all of this. Like, just really, really awesome horse.
Well, thank you so much for talking with us. It really has been a pleasure, and really to see how passionate you are about the Morgan breed, dressage, and your horse. And it's just really inspirational. I think everybody at home is really going to enjoy hearing your story and hearing about this special horse. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for giving us this opportunity.
Everyone probably who has horses in some capacity experiences symptoms of colic. The determining factor is getting to the horse quick enough, and Night Watch gives us the time to make an earlier intervention than we would have otherwise had.
Horses do not like to show signs of weaknesses. So a lot of times when they start having sort of distress, what you're going to see isn't behavioral, it's going to be more of vital signs. Your heart rate's going to get elevated, your respiratory rate's going to get elevated, but they're not necessarily going to show outward physical signs of distress until it's very far along.
As a full-time mom, as a full-time career woman, as an amateur rider, I have a lot of things to worry about. So I'm sitting here in my office doing my job, thinking about a million different things and knowing that if something went wrong, I would get a message saying something was wrong, and then I could act on it.
The world is going mobile every day, and being able to have something in your pocket that can relieve you of a certain amount of stress worrying about your horses at home is huge.
This is where technology has finally caught up to what we need to properly assess and evaluate these horses on a day-to-day basis. And now I think this is another set of eyes when we cannot be there, whether we're on the road showing, and I think it has a bright future.
I've thought about a million different scenarios. And initially I thought, oh, maybe it'll appeal to this faction, a breeding operation, or to a training barn, or to an amateur owner trainer. I can't see who it wouldn't help. It's a lifesaver, is how I would describe it to someone. Yes, it's an equine distress monitor. It's a lifesaver.
So I'm here with Rhiannon Beauregard, and we are watching a dressage event. Okay, so tell us about this horse that we're watching.
So this is Pink Martini. She's a boogeyman baby. She's a mare, and her rider had chatted with me and said that she had a really, really nice season. And I actually just talked to the trainer, just said she was a really special horse. So it's really great that we get a chance to watch her. She is riding in first level test 3 amateur. So this is the final test of this level. This is the test, one of the tests that will be calculated for the highest average scores, which will determine who is the world champion and who's the reserve world champion. So this test is starts introducing some different movements that the previous tests had not. This is a harder test out of the other 2 parts of the levels because it is supposed to prepare her for a second level.
Now, this rider is choosing to do a sitting trot instead of a posting or rising trot. Is that common in dressage?
So up until second level, you can choose to rise or to sit. Once you hit second level, you need to sit the trot only. So since she's in first level, she has a choice of sitting or rising trot. This movement is a leg yield, so she's going to leg yield out to X and then leg yield back. So you'll see some lateral movement here.
And how do you get a horse to leg yield typically?
A lot of training. Generally, that sideways movement isn't necessarily a natural movement for a horse out in the wild. But basically, it's a lot of the aids, working on the aids, so legs and seats. This is a stretching trot, which is supposed to show the horse sort of leaning forward and stretching, allowing their back to relax. You're supposed to have quite a bit of contact in dressage between the hands and the mouth. So that type of movement shows that the horse can accept stretching down and more relaxation.
Does the rider do anything differently with their body when they try to get their horse to stretch down like that?
Depends on the horse and the training. I didn't see a really big noticeable difference, but I'm sure if you ask the rider, she'd tell you exactly what she did differently. So here's the halt.
Now, what is the importance of the halt in dressage?
Again, just these are all movements. You want to test your horse's ability. Your halt should be square, and you should be able to stand still for at least 3 seconds, depending on the test, but generally 3 seconds. And just demonstrating, like a test demonstrates knowledge and skill. So this test is demonstrating this horse's ability to do these movements in a certain pattern. So all riders ride the same test in this division, and they're judged on each movement. I think there's about 12 movements. They're also judged on rider score, a gait score. There's some standard scores. So again, this back to the stretching movement. This is a free walk. So the horse is supposed to stretch lower and down. It's often hard for Morgans, and you can see she's getting a little distracted. It's hard for Morgans because they're built so uphill for them to really, really stretch low. But she's doing a nice job here, and the rider's going to sort of recollect into her medium walk, which is a shorter stride, more collected walk. Again, the judge wants to see the transition from the free walk to the medium walk. And again, little distractions. You know, this is a new environment, but she recovers nicely. So you're going to also see in this test a counter canter loop. So basically, that's testing the balance of the canter. So the horse sort of moves through the ring on the same lead, but a little bit off of the rail. Again, showing balance. That's a medium canter, so it's a little bit more extended.
Now, what were to happen if Pink Martini didn't do what the rider said, or the rider forgot part of their pattern?
So if Pink Martini didn't do what the rider said she wanted to do, they might get a 0 or a score lower. If the rider went off course, the whistle would blow, and she would have an opportunity to repeat the movement. So you can pass, and if you don't do the movement, you can get a 0, you can be excused depending on what's happening in the situation.
Now, what is the importance of transitions in dressage? So transitioning from the trot to the canter to the trot.
So kind of back to what we had talked about just earlier, what I just said about skill base, that's really important as to demonstrate the ability for the horses being able to move into the transition smoothly. There really should be no difference in the rider or the horse between transitions. It should look really effortless. A good dressage rider looks like they're doing nothing, and they just flow. And and Pink Martini and her rider definitely have those moments in this test where, and that's a nice medium canter. She's extending.
What type of qualities go into making a nice dressage horse or a successful one?
Oh, I mean, dressage's motto is that any horse can be a dressage horse, and I really truly believe that that dressage is just about skills and training and harmony and balance and tempo, and that's important for any horse, no matter what sport they show in. So really, from the littlest pony to the biggest draft horse, you could learn and show dressage and do quite nicely. It really is all about the performance and the partnership. You know, some breeds are more. Oh, this is that really nice lengthening right there. That's a beautiful, beautiful lengthening from Pink Martini.